I'm going to try and give you a match reaction here that sort of sums up that game. But you know what I'm going to say here straight away? This might sound a bit ranty, and I hate that word, but you know what? Manchester United, every single fan of another club, everybody else looking at us, scrutinising us, looking at everything we're doing and wanting us to fail and wanting us to just collapse because they enjoy it. They sit there, they watch it, they absorb it. They love watching Manchester United fail. I sat there today and I watched United give it right to the very end. I tell you what, the second half, yeah, we sat back a little bit. Well, what do you do when you're 2-0 up against, 10 on 10? Bring an Ugarte on for Šeško, people are going to be annoyed about that. But it made sense in the course of the game. Ruben Amorim is under such intense scrutiny and intense pressure. And that game there today, Manchester United went from the very start. Yeah, we got gifted. I say gifted. We created the opportunity. Ball over from Bayindir. I kind of wanted Lomons to start, but he didn't. Bayindir. I don't really have to speak about Bayindir. That's what I want from my goalkeepers. If you don't have to speak about your goalkeeper, then he's had an all right game. We got the early red card and we took advantage. We went 2-0 up. It felt glorious. Old Trafford, you heard it. And I'm telling you, that's a consequence of everybody looking in with a magnifying glass on absolutely everything that this football club is doing. Wanting us to fail. Willing us to fail. Like, lads, support your football club. This isn't a case of me being right about Ruben Amorim or you being right about Ruben Amorim or about the system or about anything. You know what it's about? It's being a fucking supporter of Manchester United. That's what I felt like in that game of football. All right? I hate Chelsea more than any other Premier League club, and it's not even close. And in that game, we got the victory that we needed. Was it as comfortable as it needed to be? Goddamn right it was not. All right? But that's peak Manchester United. Do I think Casemiro's red was a red? I'll be honest, that looked like a second yellow. To me, as I've watched it a couple of times, it looked like a second yellow. Would it have been the case if Chelsea weren't down to 10 men? I don't quite know, right? But who cares? All these details about the game get forgotten in the result. And that's the thing that United haven't had in these first few game weeks, the result. So when you don't have the result, the scrutiny gets pushed up to the nth degree. And you look at every single pass, every single shape of the formation, everything you do. But today, we came away with 3 points against Chelsea. Could we have made it easier for ourselves? Yeah, goddamn right we could have. But that's just not what Manchester United do at any point. I liked Ruben Amorim's subs in that game. Was it Cunha from Mazraoui? Could have gone very different on that one. I think he actually changed his... Was it Mbeumo was coming off? That was a little bit weird. But United saw the game through. Was it as comfortable as it could have been? Absolutely not. Was it as comfortable as it should have been? Absolutely not. But was it the result that we needed? You're damn right it was, man. And I tell you what, like Bruno, when that first goal in, I was celebrating. I was gooning everywhere, man. I really was. When that second one went in from Casemiro, I was gooning everywhere. I was like, Casemiro got the goal, we got the red card. I can't even remember what the first yellow card was. I'll be totally honest. I have no idea what that first yellow card was. Yeah, the second one was a yellow. And this, I don't know whether I feel like this is just me after that game, but it feels like the player I want to pick out after that game is Matthijs de Ligt. That was a game where, look, United were 2-0 up against 10 men. They made 3 substitutions within the first 18 minutes. It was in our hand. And I tell you what, and I'm going to take a minute to pause here. You know how many goddamn times I've spoken about the power of Old Trafford, right? Chelsea, in that environment in that first half, they were wilting. Wilting. Like cabbage in a hot pan. That's what happens when Old Trafford... And of course, the red card changes things. I mean, it's the clearest red card you're ever going to see in your life. But in that environment, Old Trafford is an intimidating atmosphere for the opposition. Not an intimidating atmosphere for you, but Matthijs de Ligt, it feels like, to me, deserves standout. Because I'll tell you what, in that starting 11, I'm looking at that starting 11 going, right, so Luke Shaw's playing after City. Yoro's dropped. That's a bit of a weird one. That was a questionable starting 11 from United. But when that red card happened, United turned that screw. Can we just have a little shout out to Who's that twat from Argentina? I'm so glad that chant came back out. Carlos Tevez, beg your name. Just park your name over there, mate. We'll give that to Garnacho. He didn't even get a chance to come on. Whopper. This is the time. That's what I mean. Like, yeah, I've had a few beers, all right? I'm enjoying myself. It's Saturday night. If you're not enjoying yourself on a Saturday night, when can you enjoy yourself? Every single pundit, fan of other club, they want Ruben Amorim to fail. Look, you might be right about Ruben Amorim not being the right manager. You might be right that we end up in the same position after like X amount of months as we did under Erik ten Hag. Right, fine. Okay, you were right. But you know what I feel like as a United fan? I will support my club. I will stand there. I will be like fucking Hodor, man, standing there just doing that against the door, against all the noise, against all the momentum that's coming against us, watching United try and push back against it, because that's what supporters do. And I'm not telling you how to support your goddamn football club. I'm just telling you how I see myself as a Manchester United fan. So that there today, for me, feels like a huge win for Ruben Amorim. It feels like a huge win for this Manchester United team. Now, did they make that easy for themselves? No, they bloody didn't. Right? Chalobah pokes in that header from a corner. Or was it a set piece? God knows what it was. A good cross from James, I think it was. And then the last 10 minutes of the game, you're just sitting there going, please not again, please not again, please not again, please. And it wasn't, all right? We won 2-1. It was the victory that we needed. Chelsea was a tough, tough game. Am I surprised that he started by India ahead of Le Mans? Yeah, a little bit, because it was a home game. But given how that game went, I suppose that kind of would have actually been the perfect game, really, for them, because he wouldn't really have had to touch the ball. But Ruben Amorim is very much a protective manager for his younger, newer players. And Mbeumo had a good game. Cunha came on. Mount came on. I thought the subs were good. But just I'm going back to it again. Like, ladies and gents, like you can see it written down there. I love you, Man United, and I hate you. I will support United through and through right to the very end. And that's what I did watching that game. I felt exhausted. It was one of those heart-wrenching, like, heartburn-inducing games again. But it's going to be a long, long time. Still feels like it. It's going to be a long, long time since we're 2-0 up with 10 men. Oh, cool. We'll get the third goal. We'll bury it. And we'll play it around the back. We'll start hearing olays from the fans in the crowd. No, sod that. How about it ends 2-1 and United fans are watching it from the back of their sofas and watching it through their fingers. That's just how Manchester United is right now. But the result came. Ruben Amorim got the result that he needed. All right. And when that happens and there's less scrutiny on the setup, the system, the positions, people doing this and that. And I tell you what, Bruno Fernandes coming up with that goal right at the very start. I mentioned this at the end. I could have mentioned it earlier. Big up, Bruno. Tell you what, being a Man United fan, man, it really does take you through the ringer. But we came out on the right side of it tonight, and that feels good.